Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. You hear relentless accusations. I want to follow up on this one part. You hear relentless accusations. Brian Fisher's my name. The program is Focal Point. Network is AFR Talk. You hear relentless accusations from people on the left that conservatives are racist. This is Barack Obama's view of America, that we are racist to the core, that racism is in our DNA. We can't help it. It's because it's in our DNA. It's not something that can be cleansed. It can't be purged. It can't be purified. I think, frankly, that this is why Barack Obama is intent on destroying this nation, because it has to be destroyed so that the utopian society of his view can be built on the rubble. He's saying, look, this country cannot be, it cannot be recaptured. It can't be reclaimed. It has to be destroyed to the ground so that his version of a just society can be built on the ruins. That's why I think it just seems deliberate. You go to the movie 2016, Obama's America, you know, the case that Dinesh D'Souza makes is this is very deliberate on Barack Obama's part. It's not a matter of incompetence. It's a matter of intentionality. He wants to punish America for its racist and colonial past. And so this is the accusation, is that conservatives, patriotic Americans, are inherently racist. Diana West has a great column today at WorldNet Daily. And remember, they always use a quota system. It's just a matter of kind of counting heads. They just tot up the number of this, the number of that, and then they decide you're racist if you don't have enough minority representation. And it's the big media that are doing this. And so she went and did a little bit of look at the racial makeup in the big media. The newsrooms of America, she says, are just as pale, if actually not more so, than the party of Lincoln and Reagan. According to 2012 figures from the American Society of News Editors, minorities make up 12.32% of newsroom employees. That's minorities. That's not just blacks. That's minorities. That leaves 87.68% of the writing and editing jobs are in the hands of white folks. So what this means is that 88% of the journalists in big media are white, and they have the audacity to accuse us of racism because we don't have enough prominent minorities. And frankly, you look at the roster, there is no way the DNC can be as diverse as the Republican National Committee was this week. They had blacks, they had Latinos, they had people from different parts of the world on that platform. There's no way the DNC is going to be able to be that diverse. Now, some new organizations like Time Magazine, Diana West goes on to say, Time Magazine said this about the GOP. It is, quote, a mostly white aging party doing its best to avoid looking like it. But the National Association of Black Journalists gave Time its 2012 Thumbs Down Award for not having a single full-time black correspondent. Now, we're getting some Fisher factoids of the day here. 88% in America's newsrooms are white. In big media, 88% of the journalists are white. But they're accusing us of being the racist. Time Magazine doesn't have one single full-time black correspondent. You go to television, we're talking about print media, 88% in the print media are white. Go to Time Magazine, not one single full-time black correspondent. Well, how about television? According to a 2011 study by the National Association of Black Journalists, the NABJ, white people, mainly white men, hold 88% of these decision-making jobs, leaving 12% to minorities. So the percentage in television newsroom managers, the guys that make decisions about how the news is handled, what stories go on the air and all that stuff, 88% of the decision makers are white, and most of them are males. You go to print journalism, 88% of the print journalists are white. Time Magazine, not one single solitary black journalist on its entire staff, and they have the audacity and the nerve to accuse us of being the racist. Let's grab a couple of more sound bites from the Marco Rubio speech from last night before we go back to the phones. 888-589-8840 is the number. Here is Marco Rubio talking last night about our rights and where they come from. Listen.
But America was founded on the principle that every person has God-given rights. Founded on the belief that power belongs to the people, that government exists to protect our rights and serve our interests, and that no one should be trapped in the circumstances of their birth. We should be free to go as far as our talents and our work can take us.
This is good stuff.
And we're special. We're special because we're united not as a common race or a common ethnicity. We're bound together by common values. That family is the most important institution in society. And that Almighty God is the source of all we have.
Hubba, hubba, hubba. They're loving that.
We're special. We're special because we've never made the mistake of believing that we are so smart that we can rely solely on our leaders or on our government. Our national motto, "In God We Trust," reminding us that faith in our Creator is the most important American value of them all.
And, spontaneous, enthusiastic, lasting applause. This is what the Republican Party poobahs do not get. They just don't get this, that this is a winning message. Listen to the reaction. You heard that when Marco Rubio talked about faith. He talked about the Creator. He talked about Almighty God being the source of everything that we have. The place just went crazy. The American people, ladies and gentlemen, they are hungry for that kind of leadership. They're hungry for the kind of leadership that Solomon gave to the nation of Israel. Well, he was unhesitating in his affirmation of God, in his public dependence upon God. I mean, that prayer in 1 Kings 8, Solomon's praying that in front of the altar. He's on his knees with his arms outstretched to heaven, praying an extensive prayer for his nation. The American people hunger for leadership that will openly and publicly acknowledge our dependence upon God just like that. That's what Marco Rubio is talking about, and it resonates with the American people. Here is the last clip, and this was a very, very moving clip on the part of Marco Rubio's part. Let's listen.
Many nights growing up, I would hear my father's keys jingling at the door as he came home after another 16-hour day. Many mornings I woke up just as my mother got home from the overnight shift at Kmart. When you're young and you're in a hurry, the meaning of moments like this escape you. But now, as my children get older, I understand it better. My dad used to tell us, "En este país, ustedes van a poder lograr todas las cosas que nosotros no pudimos." In this country, you're going to be able to accomplish all the things we never could. A few years ago, during a speech, I noticed a bartender behind a portable bar in the back of the ballroom. And I remembered my father, who worked for many years as a banquet bartender. He was grateful for the work he had, but that's not the life he wanted for us. You see, he stood behind a bar in the back of the room all those years, so one day I could stand behind a podium in the front of a room.
Whew, man, that just gives me chills listening to that. And that's the contrast right there. That's the contrast between conservatives and liberals, the way they view America. Liberals, like Barack Obama, view America as a land of oppression. Conservatives, like Marco Rubio, view America as a land of opportunity. And when Marco Rubio talks about it, I mean, it's coming from his heart. He has lived the American dream. My cab driver was a guy from Russia. He came from Russia in 1981 to get away from what was going on in Russia. He came to this land because it was a land of freedom and opportunity. He has no interest in going back. He moved his whole family over here. We did our first Tea Party in Boise back in 2009. Our first speaker was a guy from Hungary. And this was right after Barack Obama had taken over General Motors, and he said, look, I came to the United States from Hungary to get away from that, and that's why he became a part of the Tea Party movement. Let's grab a call before the break. Let's go to Dorothy, who is traveling through Tupelo. Dorothy, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Well, I have several things I want to run by. I'm a senior citizen, and I've been a missionary in Haiti for many years, and kind of out of the political scene. So I was real engrossed in watching the debates or the convention when they came on this week, and I'm so excited about the positive note of the whole general convention and the focal point of bringing America together and encouraging people to come to their better self instead of dividing one against another. I happened to be in Haiti the day Aristide was driven out, and this idea of pitting the poor against the rich, I happened to be in the middle of a gun battle because of this philosophy, and our orphanage was attacked by a group of armed teenagers whom Aristide gave the guns the day before he left and told them to go get what they wanted as soon as he was out of the country. This is what happens when we let this past continue. And I want to encourage our young people to get out and vote for Mitt Romney and those people that are supporting him and the Republican Party, because they have the right idea. And whenever you pit one nationality or one group against another, it's never going to be good.
All right, Dorothy, listen, I appreciate that very much. Thank you for that call. We're coming up against a hard break, so I got to let you go. And that is a real contrast. You know, the Republican National Convention, and I think it'll be interesting to compare the mood at the Democratic National Convention. Republican National Convention, it was up, it was happy, people were optimistic, they were cheerful, they were excited, fresh new possibilities. Democrat convention is going to be gloomy and dark in contrast. You're listening to Focal Point, AFR Talk. We will be right back after these messages. Robert, Mulberry, Florida, hang on. We'll take you coming right out of the break.